Hi guys. I did that poll the other day and I saw a bunch of people had mentioned wanting to learn more about spell work. And coming up into this full moon, I was creating my own ritual and I thought I would share some things. I don't know if anyone in this group has really done spell work. I think some people in the chat that we have from this group, if you're not on there, comment down below and we can add you if you want. I definitely know that there are people that do spell work, but I just kind of thought that this would be a great way to do an introduction and maybe give you some ideas to do for this full moon in Pisces that we have in a couple of days. The first thing I would really think would be an amazing thing to do with the full moon in Pisces, any type of moon, full moon or new moon, depending on the cycle, is a great time to do moon water. It is a super easy way to start doing energy work and start working with spell work. So to do moon water, all you really have to do, I mean, this is like how easy it is choose a vessel, fill it up with water, and then let the moon charge it. That's like an easy way to do, but I'll tell you what I do. When it comes to moon water, I don't, again, do it every moon cycle. I just fill the Pisces full moon, Pisces being the water sign, Neptune being like the the god of sea. I think that this might be a nice time to make some moon water and utilize it for different things. So the way I do it is when I do make moon water, because moon is goddess energy, it's very feminine, it's very luxurious, it's very nurturing. So I like to try to pick a vessel that represents that. If you don't have that, don't worry about that. That's just, again, my own practice. If all you have is a cup of water, do that. Make some moon water from it. But my favorite one that I make moon water from is this guy. No, I do not drink Patron. I don't like hard liquor, like, at all. My last job that I worked for, I was the admin for the food and beverage purchasing, and part of my job was to pick up the containers of alcohol that they went through. Oops, sorry, I hope you don't hear that. They would order their alcohol. I'd have to go pick up their empty bottles to give them a new bottle, and sometimes I would keep some of the bottles because I really loved them. At the time, I wasn't doing this kind of spell work, but I really loved this bottle because at first I thought it was a bee. Now I see it more like an owl, which I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be an owl. I don't know. I just love this for the goddess energy. I think it's a very beautiful jar to offer as an offering. Sorry, I couldn't think of a word there. Yeah, just to offer as energetic vessel for the moon to charge something. So this guy, I'm not going to do my moon water yet because we still have a couple days. With this moon being in Pisces and being ruled by Neptune, I'm going to try to get spring water to do this. You definitely don't have to do that. You can use whatever water you have. And again, all you're going to do is fill your vessel up, put your intention into it. You really want to think about water is life. We would not be here if we didn't have water, and really have appreciation, really have some gratitude for... Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm getting notifications. So you just, if you're going to drink the water, I totally lost track of where I'm going there. So we're going to restart. You can fill it with whatever kind of water you have. It does depend on what you want to do with it. For me, this moon water I'm going to use to make sigils around my house. I will use for sprinkling my house, even mopping. I may use it for a ritual bath. If you plan on drinking it, definitely check the source of the water that you have. Because I am not planning on drinking it, and I probably won't bathe with this one either. We have a creek right outside our backyard, and I will probably collect natural water to honor Neptune and Pisces and just the flow of this moon that's supposed to come in. So after I feel it, after I fill it, like I said, I'm going to make sure that I have a lot of gratitude, a lot of prayer or manifesting. I'm really going to sit with the beauty of this water and the moon and really try to grasp any intuition, any nurturing, any goddess energy that I can from this moon, especially in Pisces. I'm going to really sit with my intuition. As well as doing just this jar. After I let it sit out overnight, even if it's on a windowsill, I'm going to leave it on my porch overnight. You can bring it in. You can use it for taking a bath, watering your plants, yada, yada, yada. If you cannot do this, if you have a chance to do it, something I'm going to do for this next full moon is get a bowl or a cup of water and go sit outside if you can see the moon. And you're going to sit and look at the bowl and watch the reflection of the moon. And really just sit there with that. So you're, going to have to angle yourself to find the moon. But sit there and stare at that bowl and really do some meditation. Really try to find the energy of the moon magnified through the water coming through you. I think those would be really, really great ways to honor this full moon. So, yeah, basic moon water right there. Also, I'm going to do this one in moon water. I'm just showing off these fancy bottles. I was really happy that my boss let me keep some because I was supposed to throw them away. But, if I showed him that the bottle was empty, I was able to take a bunch of cool, expensive bottles home. This bottle was like, I don't know, Grand Patron burritos. I think this one was like $100 or something like that. But also, I'm going to make this into moon water. Especially this is Clase Azul tequila. You can still see, actually, maybe I shouldn't show you that. I worked for the second largest JW in the US, so maybe I shouldn't be showing you that. But this was a beautiful bottle, and I think it really represents the energy of the feminine that the moon will bring us on the full moon. Also the blue helping to represent Neptune and Pisces. So this one I'll make into water, moon water, and this is probably the one I'm going to make with some different herbs so I can put in a bath. I'll probably make this one because I love its owl, and that's, again, where the magic practice is. It's all up to you. Whatever you are vibing with and feels right to you and your energy, go with that. But, so, because this one is nature-based, this one will probably be one that I feed my plants with. I'm going to make sure it has spring water or distilled water just to make sure there's no chlorine. And that will be for my plants, moon water. And then this will be something I kind of maybe put some special oils in, or something that makes this where I can have it as a bath. And this will be something that I bless my house with. So since we're talking about that, because I want to make this simple, literally all you have to do for moon water, put a jar with some water out in the moon. If you want to make it bougie, there's some ways. But now, since we were talking about herbs going into the moon water and the purposes of that, let's go into a protection spell jar. I don't want this to be overwhelming. I'm really hoping it doesn't, because I want everyone to be able to get into their intuition and what makes sense for them. And oh my goodness, sorry. I don't know if you're hearing that. I hope not, but and to just get into their own practice in it. I've made quite a few spell jars. I studied from a few different people online, different practitioners. I've done a lot of research. I will definitely, something I've been starting to collect again is some PDF files that I'll put in the files in this group, just so it's available, so you can kind of see where I'm basing some of this stuff off of. So let's get into a protection spell. Again, I think a protection spell is a great thing to do on a full moon. I did say, again, don't start anything on a full moon. That's why I'm going to do this now. Let it outside, charge over the full moon, and I won't bring it back inside until we get into the waning moon. So let's get into it. Again, find a jar, find a container. If you have little satchels, you can do that. You can, honestly, you can put them in Ziploc bags. It is whatever you want to do. You just need to find something to contain what you have, your spell that you're going to work on. Because, again, it is all about intention and energy. I already enchanted all these items and did my prayer and did my blessing over them before I gathered them. It's all about intention. Anything that you are going to pick out from this list I'm going to give you, it's going to be kind of long. But I just, again, want you to find things that are just available to you, that speak to you, for you to work with energy. So anything that you put in here, it needs to mean something to you. It needs to be enchanted. It needs to be honored. If you're going to harvest, for my belief, from the earth, you need to thank it and you need to charge up that energy. So everything I'm about to put in my spell jar today, I charged up before I came online, because it's going to be a lot. But again, hopefully you get some ideas, and I will not fully activate this jar until the full moon, but we'll get into that later. So before you start any spell, I think it's important to cast a circle. What that looks like is very different in each practice. For this particular protection jar, I actually did a salt circle around me. Salt is very protective. It kind of cracks me up when I watch Hocus Pocus and she shakes the salt around, but salt is very protective and negating energy. If you are going to use salt, please do not put it in the earth. It is really, really bad for the earth. So I am obviously inside, and I did, for this protection jar, put a salt circle around me, and I meditated for a while, just thinking about energy and protecting my own energy, drawing in from the earth, from any other abundant energy. And sorry if you heard that. Drawing in any abundant energy that is welcome to me, creating my own circle. Again, if that's a video we want to get into at one point, I will bring up different ways to cast a circle. I really like to, if I know it's going to be energy drawn and I'm really asking for something that feels kind of out of my immediate control, that I will cast a circle with drawing in energy and protecting myself and knowing that I'm not going to extend extra energy. Just my practice. Again, don't have to do it. Before we get into my items, the last thing I was going to talk about was where to put your spell. For this particular spell, I cannot bury it in the jar. But there are three options. You can bury it, you can put it on your altar. On the outside of the house would be a great spot to put a protection jar. On your front door, don't put it on your back. You want to put it on the... I might have to call my dog in a minute. Put it on the front to ensure that no negative energy comes into your house. And again, you can eventually bury it if that was something that you want to do. Like you could do this spell in a hole in the dirt as long as everything that you had was biodegradable and non-toxic, and you could put little spells in the dirt on each corner of your house, and that would be pretty effective as well. But this guy is going to go on the front of the house for the next lunar cycle for me. So, and then, I did bring up enchant each item, which I did do before this. Oh, speaking of which, I'm totally rambling, but thank you for listening. Because I did say don't put salt in the ground. If you're going to cast a circle or use, because I am going to use salt in this jar, don't put it in the earth. Use eggshells instead. You can put that in the earth, and it's actually great, but salt is really, really toxic. So if you are going to do like the four corners in your yard, please just don't put salt in there. It's not good. So let's get into the items that you can put in a spell jar. A really quick list, and that's not, just set on only production jars. Things that you can put in your spells are herbs, spices, teas. That's, I think, one of the most accessible ones that most people have. If you have spices in your cabinet, you can use them as long as you enchant them and put intention into them. You can use crystals. I think we're kind of in that group where a lot of us have crystals. So you can use crystals, rocks. You can use any kind of earth element, sticks, roots, anything that comes from the earth. I'm just saying, like, these are kind of just easily accessible things. Like, you don't need a kit. You don't need to, like, buy cards. These are just things that actually have, sorry, my glasses, magical properties that are so easy to find. There are so many household items, and we're going to get into some that I'm going to talk about today that you can use. One of the things you can do is putting in a scroll in your spell, which we're going to do today too, which is just writing down your intention. I mean, for the most part, we all have a piece of paper and a pen, or even just your phone and some notes, just writing down an intention and sending it out to the universe. There are tons of deities and spirits that you can work with, but we'll get into that a little bit later if it's something that you're wanting to, and divination, that's in there, if that's something that you want to work with. You can work with not magic, which, again, I think we all have string. You can get dollar store string. Okay, so those are just like a list, a very, very broad list. If you want to end the video now, I understand. But I'm going to go into what I put into mine, and hopefully maybe it'll give you some ideas. Granted, I do have a lot of things that I have saved in my magical practice that maybe you may not have, but I promise you nothing here is like super exotic. I promise you can find it. I'm going to have to call my dog in here in a minute because I can hear her being insane to the mowers. Go ahead. Treat. Come on, treat. Let's get a treat. Oh, sorry, I gotta give her a treat now, because if I don't, she'll be mad. She only comes for that word. She knows she get one. What do you want? You want a little piece of cheese? Alright. Okay, guys, so we are going to get into the things, like I said, that I'm going to put in my protection jar. I've just been super called to do that recently, so I figured, why not? We're going to start with the most easiest things. I guarantee you got them in your cabinet, and they are super, super magical. It's spices. Spices are a beautifully easily accessible way to tap into things that we have known to be magical. We have known to be important. We are starting to learn in modern Western science has a lot of healing properties. So one of the best things you can do, there are so many flies. I'm sorry if you're seeing them. Best, easiest things you can do is put some spices in. Because they are touch. Like, I'm going to show you, I got Kroger off-brand salts. And when I talk about enchanting an item and giving appreciation to an item, it is holding it in a way that you honor it and that you clear any energy from where it may have came from. You bring in any ancestral energy, any wisdom that this historically has brought, and you kind of, again, cleanse it and put it into your spell work. So, again, I did each one of these items beforehand, but like an example of what I would say is salt. I appreciate the grounding you give in the earth. I appreciate the protection you're going to give me. I know that you're going to dissipate any evil energy and you're going to protect me. Everything with this protection spell, I end with, I know you're going to protect me and I'm grateful that you're going to protect me. So we'll start with this one. We'll start with some salts. I like to do it in 3, so 1, 2, 3, and so it is. I'm going to have a little table here because we got a lot of stuff we're going to go through, but chili powder. I think chili powder is an amazing spice. Anything that gets the heart pumping, a spice like that really gets your heart pumping, is meant for a reason. It's all about protection. To me, it represents the protection state. So chili powder also historically has been used in a lot of ritual. You can even, it said, sprinkle it around your windows and your door, and it will prevent ants from coming into you, which, living in California, I promise you it does work. So again, just giving it like gratitude, thinking that the ancestors that picked this, where it came from, clearing any energy, any bad thing that can be here, and adding it into our spell. Thank you for the protection you're going to give my house and my family and my animals. And so it is. Garlic is another one. Garlic and onion, which I have some onion we'll put in here in a little while. It has a lot of antimicrobial. It actually does really suck in a lot of carbon dioxide. It's a beautiful herb. It's not an herb. It's a root that you can use. A lot of roots are amazing for protection work. Anything that's been down in the earth and grounded, as long as, again, you give appreciation. When I get into the things that I harvested today, I will kind of say how I give appreciation to the things I harvest. But there's no different. Like this garlic, it took so much energy to bring me this garlic powder, to have this show up at Kroger, how many people it took to cook, how many people it took to tend to the soil, to dehydrate, how many factories, how much fossil fuel. So like this is a beautiful, sacred thing, and it needs to be honored. So I thank you, garlic. Thank everyone that brought this to me, and I thank you for the protection that you're going to bring to my house, my family, and my animals. Oh, it smells good. My last 2 seasonings, which again, there are so many different resources. If you want to look up whatever seasonings you have in your cabinets, and just, Google it, like for this one, cinnamon, spiritual meaning, and look it up and look at the history, look at your ancestry if you know it. I don't, so I have reverence for every ancestor and every little bit of knowledge that went into this being something that I can have and hold that would never grow here. But it's really easy to look up whatever you have in your cabinet, what the magical properties are, and just bless it. Bless it. Oh my goodness. Oh, cinnamon is so beautiful. I bless you, cinnamon, for your tenaciousness, your spunk, your protection. My last one, lemon pepper. I really am not a fan of this on food, but it does have Himalayan salt and lemon and pepper, black pepper. Black pepper is very, very potent in protection. Same with Himalayan salt. Lemon just being very citrusy. I view it as like cutting through any energy that's not meant to be there. Just like I can kind of cut through saltiness. So again, we bless this spell, and we are so thankful for anyone that is willing to come through in this energy to protect our house. We know we are protected, and we are so grateful. So that just being a simple one of, you can, right there, you could seal that off, or you could take this mixture, activate it, and put it in your hand and blow it through your front door, giving blessing and intention as it goes. You could leave it right here if you wanted to, but we're gonna go a little deeper. Another one that I think is super easy is rice. Rice is very, very powerful. It is very sturdy. It grows, if you've ever seen the rice paddies, in water, so it grows through emotion. I have this rice mixed with the incense ash that I have collected. I always burn my incense on this tray, and I have it in here. I blessed it. I was so thankful for the lessons that the water has to give us. I am so thankful for this full moon bringing us protection and it being blessed with the ashes that we burn. Burning is protection. It can have regrowth. So to me, this is a very magical part of this spell, and I think it's a very easy thing that everyone could do. So we're going to add this with gratitude, for appreciation for the wisdom with our intuition, because it is about protection. Save that baggie because plastic don't belong in the in the landfill. If you can, please, I hate having plastic bags, but if you can, try to make sure you multi-purpose them. So now we have our spices and our rice mixed in with our incense ash. Another easy, accessible thing that I think people have access to is tea. If you have teas that you don't like, or you're holding on to, or you just really are feeling called to do a spell, it would be maybe a good time to look in. We have a lot of teas, and we've gotten some of them just not really enjoying them that much. So sometimes I will look through when I'm doing spell work and see if anything matches the magical property that I'm trying to do. This one is the Echinacea Tea, and it's organic. It's 99% organic. It's just Echinacea, I'm pretty sure. Let me see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just Echinacea, which I do. lemongrass, spearmint, and echinacea, which are really good things for protection. It's not my favorite tea. I definitely drink it. It's pretty potent if you haven't had echinacea on its own. But I am going to bless this gratitude because the indigenous people of America, I don't know how to say that the right way. The indigenous people here, echinacea was put into like an offering and a spell work for the spirits, for the elders to come through and to help create a potency. It's my hubby, yay! A potency in the spell. So I am so grateful for this becoming part of the protection of my house and spirits and ancestors and God and Goddess and universe. I hope I am able to honor you in such a way with this spell. For these tea bags, I like to cut them open, although cotton, which I'm going to bring up here in a little bit, is pretty amazing in protection. But we're going to, with gratitude and thankfulness and beauty and protection, put echinacea in here. The last tea I'm going to put in here that I have, which, again, it's not the worst. It's just not necessarily my favorite tea, but I think it would be really great for a protection spell. So this is turmeric and ginger. Oh, it does smell so good. It's again, necessarily, it takes a little bit of like coconut milk and everything in there for it to be a good tea, but I'm not saying anything bad. I love you, tea. You're so great. Turmeric and ginger in the spice trade was a pretty potent argument amongst humans, but I take this in with such honor, such reverence, and such appreciation for the protection it's going to bring into this spell and into this house and into my family and into my animals. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so at that point, we are here. I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful to any energy that wants to come in. Oh my gosh, it smells amazing. Oh, it smells amazing. Those, again, I think are just super, super easy things. You can stop whenever. You can make your own combination. This is just for you to do you, boo-boo. You call in that energy for protection. This one is protection. So all I'm doing when I'm thinking about this is sharing protection for not only me, but anyone that may be making this, that this is for creation to come and keep us safe. So the next thing you could do if you wanted was some crystals. I'm actually going to wait to put this crystal in last because I don't want it to be sitting on top of the salt. I do not know too much about crystal work quite yet beyond the ones that I have, which we have a lot of crystals. I do know black is really great for drawing in negative energy, so that'll go in on last. I'm pretty sure it's an obsidian. I'm not totally sure, though, on that one. When it comes to the next things, earth elemental items. Oh, okay, we'll do that one. Let's do household items, because I'll break this down. One of the things I think is a beautiful, beautiful way. Oh my goodness, what did I do with them? I lost my nails. No, I didn't. Okay. Iron for protection. Not only iron, but anything pokey. Also, obviously, exercise care. Anything pokey. Iron is super, super good. So just the nails are an amazing protection. And again, putting intention. Like I said, I spend a lot of time with each of these items. I'm just kind of giving a quick example before I put them in here. A quick example would be iron. I thank you for coming from the earth and creating such stability. I appreciate these pointy ends. I know that you will protect my family and protect my home. I also, because we're about to get into the numerology of some things too, for protection, personally, I am sticking with the numerology. I'm sticking with 3s, 7, and 10. 3s just being, again, about kind of the expansion, like I'm asking right now for the protection. I'll actually put these sticking up, pointing to the north when I do. But I'm asking for the protection. I'm asking it for it to really come in and to multiply. So I will stick with 3s or multiplications of 3s. 7 is just like trust and like knowing that the divine and everything that connects us is going to be there. So I think that's a really good number as well. 10 being about completion and the holistic picture. So just my personal practice, that's what I'm sticking with when it comes to some of these objects. So these 3 nails I'm going to put sticking up. They don't have to be perfect, but they're enchanted. They're here for protection. They're pointing up for guidance from the north and from the heavens to come down to the bottom. The next things I'm going to do, well, I guess it'll be a minute for the rest of the household things. Let's just get into the earth elemental things and why I use them. Like I said, I will post the PDF of one of the things that I really like. Hi, Julie. To pull some of my inspiration from on different earth magic and herbs and plants and what they meant. But also, I've read from like a lot of different people, so I can't say there's just one thing that I'm using my inspiration from. Again, being someone that practices like elemental magic and earth magic, a lot of this kind of goes off of just things that we use these plants for that I'm about to talk about. So, all the things that I harvested today, and if you are going to harvest a plant for a ritual, I really do believe it's really important to thank the plant, to sit with the plant, to let it know your intention for using it. Even when I harvest for our dinner, I still, really am thankful for the plant. So everything I picked today, before I picked it, I had gratitude for it. I tried to sit there and like touch the soil and ask if it was okay and give gratitude. So one of the first things that I think everyone could have access to is a thorny plant. Anything with thorns are great for protection, obviously, right? You touch it, you don't want to touch it. This is actually from our rose bush outside, which was a beautiful rose bush. I loved it. And I made sure to have 3 thorns on here just for my numerology, and I'm going to cut that with gratitude and so much love, so much thankfulness into 3 parts. Rose is also really good for protection. A lot of people only think of it as as like a love spell kind of thing. But it's super good for protection because of the thorns. So, sorry, I'm trying to get you to sit back. Maybe. All right. So I cut that into 3 pieces. I might have to actually cut it shorter. Can we rotate? Let's try that. I may not be the best, no. Sorry. There we go. We'll just do it like that. So I'm going to make sure I still have my thorns on here, and I'm going to be so thankful for the protection, the abundance that comes from protecting my home, the love that rose brings into any spell, with the sharpness and the beautiful dichotomy of the roses, the thorns, the flowers. Thank you so much for everything you do. Oh, I should have maybe waited on that one, but the next thing I'm going to put into my jar is a Hornets Nest. This actually was outside our house for a while. We finally got the hornets to leave without having to spray them because they are pollinators, even though they're a pain in the butt. But I love the hive aspect of it. To me, again, the assertiveness, the defense that they have. So this already enchanted is going to be blessed and welcomed into this spell, and thank you. Couple more things I'm going to throw in there. Let's see, is my Comfrey. Comfrey is a beautiful, beautiful plant. Oh my goodness. I actually almost literally chopped the tip of my finger off a few weeks ago. And a friend of mine had given me Comfrey. And Comfrey is known as the broken bone plant. It used to be used in poultices to help mend bones, and it's super good for healing. And I swear you can't even tell that I cut my finger off because I used this overnight. I wrapped it up. It smells like a cucumber. I love it. There's a lot of stories of how this is really good for protection, and personally having experience with it, I think it's a great thing to add into the spell jar. Let's see, the next thing we are going to put in is some rosemary. Rosemary is a beautifully, beautifully protective herb, a loving herb, a intuition herb. It's one of my favorites. I don't, again, really like to cook with it a lot. I make a lot of teas with it. But I have a rosemary plant that's growing great in my backyard. And I appreciate the protection it's going to bring me and my family and my home and my animals. Calendula, super healing, super protective. Bright colors are said to warn off bad energy. And orange is the color of like communication. So I think these are a really great way to help me remember to be in communication and aware of the energy that I may be not feeling the best on. So I'm putting 3 of those in there because, like I said, the number 3 to me really represents the expansion, the growth of it. The last couple things that I can fit in my jar, because we are already getting pretty full, is I'm going to put in some stinging nettle. Stinging nettle. If you live in the Midwest, you know what this is. It is not the funnest thing. You can see those little pokies right there. It's actually super, super medicinal. You can cook it, make it into teas, dry it, but it's also really potent in warding off bad energies and keeping anything that is not meant for you and your higher good at bay. So I have a lot of nettle in my yard. I picked some of that. We'll gently put that in because you don't want to get poked by it. But I never seem to really have a reaction to nettle. I've never had a reaction to poison ivy. So the last couple things that I'm going to put actually in here, and then when I activate the jar, which I'm not going to do that until the full moon, I will let this go outside and I will let this be on my altar for a couple days, and then the full moon, I will actually go out, I will activate it, and I will leave it outside for protection. But A couple other easy things that you could have in your house is cotton. I had cotton balls somewhere, but I could not find them. But if you don't, you can use Q-tips. That's cotton on the end of it. Cotton is considered very sacred, very abundant. There was a lot of things that happened over the trade of cotton throughout our ancestors. So I try to do it with reverence, and I don't put a lot in because I feel like that's disrespectful. But also, like, cotton is, the flower is so beautiful and soft, but woven together, it can be so strong. So you can take a little bit of cotton with some reverence and some appreciation off of a Q-tip. Bless it for the protection and the strength that it's going to bring, and drop that in. Oh, okay, my last couple of things I'm going to actually put in it, and like I said, when I activate it, I'll put it on my porch, and I'll show you the couple things I'm going to put around it because it's not going to fit in the jar. I have some beautiful, beautiful oak bark from the oak tree that is outside in our backyard. Along with that, I have some, I don't know if you can see it, let me put these. Let me put these in the camera. We have some acorns that we colored. Nuts, anything that has to do with like the seed, the starting, I think is really good for protection. I think it really helps invoke the earth energy, like tapping into the roots. And I have 6 of them here, so a multiplication of 3. I think I'm only going to put 3 in here because it's getting pretty full. All these colors and these patterns that we did draw on them were intentional, and I think that's beautiful. But we also have some oak bark, and I spent some time with the tree and asked if it was okay, and it gave me 6 pieces of bark, which I think is really cool. And they're tiny, but they're beautiful. So I am really thankful for the wisdom. Trees are so intelligent. To spend time with them, to get to know them, to ask permission for the wisdom that they have is beautiful. So we're going to put this in for protection as well. And the last thing that's actually going to go in the jar is I have 3 tomato flowers. Tomato is really, really protective, and it's also kind of funny because they kind of have that hair, the little pokiness on them too, but they're very protective. Their bright colors, again, help ward off any bad energy, any evil spirits, and tomatoes are abundant. So we're going to put those in with gratitude and love for everything that's going in there. It's so beautiful. So beautiful. Couple other things, and then we will get this baby. I told you this was a lot, but I've been really feeling this protection jar. I've been really needing to do it. So another thing I'm going to put in mine is corn. Corn, again, is very sacred. If you've learned anything about the 3 sister planting, corn was part of that. It's considered a very feminine energy, which I think for this moon I really want to call in, but it's also very protective. It used to be hung above doorways, used during the fall ceremonies for protection. 2, 4, 6. I just pulled out 6 too, that's funny. So I'm going to put these beautiful corn kernels in here for the protection, the sacredness. This corn that I have right here too is a heritage corn, and it's been here forever. It has so much knowledge, and it helps. We have corn in everything that we eat. Like, if you have a processed diet, we eat so much corn, so it's a beautiful thing to put in there. And I think this is it, our white clover. White clover is very, very magical. Anything that's creepy and viney is really, really good for protection. So if you have ivy, Anything that kind of sprawls on the ground, which clover, if you let it go, clover really sprawls. So clover is really, really great for protection. So I have 3 heads of white clover that I'm going to add in here as well. I'm getting pretty full on this. I'm going to have to get off here soon, but I'm getting really full on this jar. It has the Hornets Nest, the rice, all the spices, the tea, the nettle, the acorn, calendula, cotton, nettle, and clover. And the last thing I'm going to do for right now until I activate this jar is I gotta text the hubby. Sorry, guys. Sorry. The nettle, Miss Julie, from my house, we have a lot of stinging nettle growing, and we tried, getting a grip on it at the beginning of the year, but we just kind of keep letting it grow. So, oh yeah, it has corn in there. To give you another few ideas of things that you can do for protection before I get off here, things that have been historically known for protection would be things, and it's not a comprehensive list, I just thought these were things that were easily accessible to people. Flaxseed, leek, mint, any kind of roots again are really great in tapping into that energy. Onion, oak, witch hazel, which you can buy a bottle of witch hazel. I have it all the time because that's what I use for my sprays. Rose, pine, you can use pine needles, pine cones, St. John's wort, violet. So those are all things that are really, really good for protection. And you go for a walk in your local park and you learn how to identify that. I bet you can find a lot of that, or you can go to a store, and how I use with the spices, buy them, enchant them, pray over them, and use them in magical work. So the last thing I'm going to put for right now, again, is this spray that I made, which has witch hazel, Cypress, Ylang Ylang, I think that's how you say it, myrrh, and clove all in here. I make a bunch of my own sprays, so this one I love. I spray in my house and cleanse my house with all the time. It smells so good. So I will spray 3 pumps in here and really call in protection, all the gratitude for everything that's in here, and the energy to be positive. Oh, I forgot one of the most important things that I wanted to put in. It's so hard to do a ritual on camera because this would be something I would spend a lot more time, which again, I'm just explaining this, but I will activate it when the moon is actually... I haven't tried cooking it to eat it, Julie, the nettle. I did try drying some for tea, that was fine. It wasn't necessarily my favorite, but I could appreciate it. One of the things I really wanted to put for this, which I will put to follow some cardinal directions, is it's a feather. I really identify with birds as a spirit animal, and this is one from our chickens, and I really love the white and the black. I think of that as being in protection that only light may enter. I will put the feather in here and make sure that only light can enter facing my door. So this will be facing that way, and I will have this kind of angled. I guess I'll have it like this so that only negativity can leave. So actually, let's see if we can find a little spot for that in here. This is a full jar today. Again, I'm only saying what I'm putting in mine because I just want to give you ideas on things that you can do, what's available to you. Okay. last couple things that I will put around it when I activate this, which will be, again, just putting my intention into it. I am actually going to do some knot magic around it. I can do another video around knot magic to help put around the jar with intention. And then I will put this out on my front porch. I will put all my intention into it. I will thank the goddess. I will thank Pisces. I will thank I was going to talk about deity work too. There's a lot of deities that you can work with. Some that I'm going to be calling on is going to be goddess protection energy. And so I'm going to bring up like Bridget energy, Donga. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. There's a bunch of mantras that are Donga mantras, and they are probably the easiest deities to work with if you're going to. Some deities that you work with are really going to want a reciprocal relationship where you do need to keep an altar for them. Another one that I probably would kind of invoke the energy of is Freya. I'm not going to be asking Freya for anything, but I would probably create a little altar space for Freya with some sweets and some honey. So you could definitely do that work around your spell work. You can do knot magic. If anyone wants more videos on this, I would be happy to break that down. The only thing I'm going to say with your spells is you need to either replenish them or break them down. For a protection spell, I don't plan on breaking it down, but I need to replenish it. It's something I need to work with often. I need to refresh the herbs. I need to work with the energies that are in the current season to create a long-lasting vibrational effect around me. When I activate that, I'm going to put some amaranth, some plantain, some mulberry, and I have some morning glory, and I have some more basil and onion that I will put around it as I'm creating. All those things are great for, protection. So I need to get ready to hop off here and get ready to cook some foods for everyone, but I hope this is just a very random introduction on how to do spell work. Like, again, it is all about things that feel right to you, what energies you feel called to work with, what are your special talents. For me, I work with nature. I love growing things. I love working with animals. I feel like that's where my calling is, and so that's what I work off of. But if you work with deities, if you work with crystals, if you work with whatever you work with, it's your option. I just was hoping that this would give some ideas. So blessings be. We will activate this guy. Maybe I'll film it, not live, but I'll show you how I activate it and like edit it and stuff, because I just want that to be a time for me. But I hope everyone has a good night. Bye, guys.